Alright, what's going on, everybody? It's Friday, December 19th. Let's talk PlayStation. I'm gonna be straight up with you guys right now. I feel like complete and utter crap. My throat is sore. I'm really cold. Obviously, I think I'm getting sick, but I feel like crap. So if I half-ass this episode, that's because I did. So bear with me if I sound weird or something like that. I don't know how it's going to come through in the audio and everything. Anyway, there's not a whole lot that was going... I'm coughing a lot, too. There's not a whole lot that was going on this week. And it's probably going to be that way for the next few weeks because we're going into the holiday season, obviously. It pretty much is the holiday season. And a lot of developers and Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, they're all going to like go home, you know, to their families and stuff, vacation and whatnot. So we're probably not going to see a whole lot of news coming out. This usually happens every Christmas on Let's Talk PlayStation. I think we've been through 2 Christmases now, I think. I don't know. I've been doing this show for a while. But anyway, not a whole lot has been going on, but we'll talk about some stuff. Right up front, Plex Media Streaming, the app, is coming to PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4, so you can stream video content to your PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4 through, stream video content through a storage device like a USB drive or something. That's coming to PS3, PS4. X1 and 360, I think, have had this for like 2 months or something now. It's nice to see PS4 get more media features, more streaming apps. It's definitely lagging behind in comparison to PS3 and X1, for example, and 360. 360's got a lot of apps, too, but PS3 has a bunch of apps still. But I've talked about this so many times. PS3 is such a better media hub, and it's nice to see PS4 is getting there. So let's talk remasters. We got a lot of them. DMC, Devil May Cry, and DMC4 has been confirmed by Capcom that they're coming to next generation platforms, remastered, quote unquote, so 1080p, 60 frames per second, and everything. Also announced was, well, it wasn't really announced, but there was a Australian rating for Borderlands on PS4 and X1, like a definitive edition of the game. So that is more than likely going to come. That's, you know, they don't rate games that don't exist. That's probably going to come. Quantic Dream has revealed on their Facebook that they have something exciting to announce in early 2015, January, they said, which I think more than likely is the Beyond Two Souls port that we were talking about for a while. There's been tons of pretty damn good rumors regarding that's probably going to happen. Makes a lot of sense anyway, since there's so many damn remasters and ports coming to PlayStation 4 and X1 anyway, so it's probably going to happen. I wouldn't expect their new project just yet because that stuff takes a while. They only have had a few demos on PS4. So, and it's, yeah, we have no clue how far along they are on an actual PlayStation 4, like, original game. And lastly, Square Enix has been pretty vocal this past week regarding Final Fantasy XIII and 13-2, or I believe the whole trilogy, and the possibility of that being bundled up and being released on PS4 and X1. Which, it's funny because a lot of people are like, well, we don't want that. Square, we don't want that. Square, we don't want that. They're like, oh, well, yeah, we're thinking about bringing it to PS4, X1. Square, we don't want that. But point being, the thing is, like, yeah, so many remasters, so many ports. We've been over this topic a few times. People get super pissed about it when no one's forcing them to buy these games. What I like is that even Square Enix said this themselves, which I always use as evidence for people. In fact, I'll do a Ryan on Gaming on this eventually. It'll be a longer, more drawn-out topic. But Square Enix mentioned the fact that they're thinking about it, but they can't do it right now. And the reason why they can't do it right now? Guess what? Because most of the team at Square Enix have moved on to Kingdom Hearts 3, Final Fantasy 15, A Realm Reborn, working on content for that game. That's why they can't make a port or remaster, because they're working on new original titles or sequels or whatever, but like brand new games, which is what you guys are always talking about, right? Oh, there's so many remasters, so many this, or so many that. And Square Enix mentioned, oh, we could probably do it if an external studio did it. Bingo! That's exactly what this is. People always bitch about ports and remasters. My thing that I always tell people is, more than half the time, 90% of the time, it's not the actual developers making these games. They source it out to another developer. There's developers that have never made an original game because that developer, like, that's what they do. They're like a port studio. They just, like, they run a business on porting software, like, everywhere to various platforms. That's just what they do. There's whole developers that do this so that Square Enix doesn't have to do it. Sanzaru Games has done a bunch of ports for PlayStation content. Who else am I thinking of that did port stuff? Sumo Digital, I believe, did some ports for Xbox 360, Xbox One. I don't even remember the game, but it's just there's hundreds of examples. So when you complain about all these remasters, you know, half the time it's not taking resources away from the developers that you love and want to see original games from. They source it out to somebody else, and it produces royalties for those games, so they can fund new projects and new ideas. But we'll talk about that in Orion on Gaming more at length. All right, now moving on to our main news story for the week. Again, there's not a whole lot going on, so I thought this would be a good main talking point. I didn't plan on actually doing this topic. I actually recorded some Let's Plays last night. And I'll just talk about random stuff on there. If you watch my Let's Plays, you know I just talk about random stuff. Because they're like 30 minutes long, I have way more things to talk about, and I'm not like confined to like 10, 15 minutes on these shows where I'm covering multiple news stories. So I had like a little rant about this already on the Let's Play, and then I thought to myself, like, oh, I'll just do it on Let's Talk PlayStation. So we're doing it now. The Uncharted 4 thing, right? The thing about Uncharted 4 is, like, they finally showed the gameplay, right? And people immediately were like, it's actually not that impressive. Or they look at it and they go, wow, I'm actually disappointed. Like, I expected more or whatever. And I looked at that. Here's the thing. But before they showed the gameplay, and it was, like, pretty obvious that we were going to see gameplay at PSX, I immediately thought to myself, like, it's going to come out. It's going to look fantastic. I know it is. Because objectively, when you look at it, it is fantastic. But I bet the majority of people that see it are going to be upset. Like, they're not going to be impressed with it. They're going to expect it to look just like the E3 trailer and everything. And that's what it all stems to. There's a picture going around showing, like, oh, like, this is what they showed at E3, and this is what they show at PSX, and it's completely different, and they don't look the same. I knew that was going to happen. Like, I totally knew it. Because people are, like, pansies, and they just complain and whine, and nothing makes them happy, and they just want everything. I knew it. So it wasn't a surprise to me that when the gameplay trailer came out, that's exactly what happened. People weren't, like, that impressed with it. And Naughty Dog even finally commented on this, which I'm so happy, because what's great is, what's his name? Let me look it up. The company's 3D environment artist, Anthony Vaccaro, I believe that's how I'm pronouncing it, tweeted a bunch of things, commented on this, and I had thought of all these things before he had even said it, and I'm so happy he came out and said it, which is, well, here are some of the points he made. The time of day is different in both. Our first trailer is at night, moonlight, our gameplay demos in early morning. So the moonlight is slightly over-exaggerated to give more contrast, to give that night feeling, but enough light so you can see what's going on. Then he mentions, his face is so specky looking. Have you seen the trailer? He literally gets up out of water, so his face, chest, shirt are wet and have a high sheen to it. The bottom one, he's not wet in the new gameplay trailer, so clearly he's going to look dry. I don't know why he didn't make this his, like, main vocal point, because this is, like, the biggest one. Trailers are art directed for every frame. A trailer is not gameplay, so we have the ability to do a lot of art direction in that shot, and that could otherwise hamper gameplay. It allows us to give a lot more emotion to a trailer. That was, like, immediately the biggest thing. I thought to myself, when we finally see gameplay of Uncharted 4, it's gonna look fantastic. It's gonna look incredible. I have good confidence that Naughty Dog will produce something visually stunning. But I know it wasn't going to look detail for detail like the E3 demo or the E3 trailer, because that E3 trailer was a trailer. More importantly, it was a cutscene. It was very, very obviously a cutscene. And the thing is, if you watch the Uncharted 4 gameplay, you can see how it gets to the end and it reveals Nathan Drake's older brother, and you can pause it right on Nathan Drake's older brother's face, and the detail is pretty much equivalent to the same detail that you saw in the E3 trailer, because guess what? It's cutscene. It's cutscene. No matter what, people don't seem to understand this, but like a cutscene is always going to be able to produce something visually more beautiful than actual gameplay, because gameplay requires a lot more horsepower, and things are running around, and you got things that like the 3D artist said, gameplay is going to have different you can always add more visual flair to something that isn't gameplay. I remember, think about, the Final Fantasy games on PlayStation 2, man, or PlayStation 1, I think it works, but, you'd see a cutscene in Final Fantasy, and I remember on the PS2, I was like, man, this looks incredible, this cutscene looks awesome, dude, and then it switches over to gameplay, and it looks, of course, nothing like it, but those were, videos, so it's a different thing. It gets into, rendering and pre-rendering and running an engine and everything, and what's a video and what's not, but you understand my point. It's not like I'm trying to give you, a total shoe fit metaphor here. You see what I'm saying? I need to get some sleep. I'm trying the best I can, people. But I hope you see what I'm saying. It's just one of those things where, in this industry, with people that like play games all the time and stuff, they have their hopes way too high. Like every year, people expect Jesus to come down from and grant people every wish they've ever wanted at E3, and of course that doesn't happen because that's not what E3 usually is. You'll get maybe a megaton or two, but people expect way too much out of E3. Pretty much every press event, actually. And recently, it's like, you know, if something's not what you want it to be, or, you know, you just get really upset and pissed off. But that's another thing is, and I've kind of like, you know, I'm made my peace with it a long time ago. I'm a grown adult, but it's like, the people that have problems are going to be vocal. That's why you always see people like that commenting on videos or talking in a forum or whatever, right? Being vocal about it because they're angry or they don't like something or they're not impressed with something and they need to be heard because they need their opinions justified. Like when you go to a Last of Us video and you see tons of comments with a bunch of thumbs up actually saying like, oh, Last of Us is overrated because they want their opinions justified that they think it is overrated. You know, when PS4 came out and the people that were having problems were giving it 1-star reviews because those were the people that legitimately had problems. The people that were enjoying their PS4 were playing it. And the people that think Uncharted 4 looks understandably fantastic are just sitting back and just enjoying it and being, you know, lurkers. Which is kind of what I am. I was, at least for a long time. Now I actually make videos with my face on the internet, so yeah, I'm just trying whatever I can do to kind of pass along any sort of good nature to anybody. Like, if it changes one person's opinion on being so shitty, then, you know, I guess I've done something right. I hope. Anyway, that concludes this week's episode of Let's Talk PlayStation. I feel like somebody's gonna mention this, but like, hey Ryan, how come you aren't talking about the Sony Korea, the interview movie thing? That's a Sony Corporation thing. That's a Sony Pictures thing. That's like a political thing. I'm not gonna touch that. Like That's the thing. This is Let's Talk PlayStation, so Sony Computer Entertainment we'll talk about, but Sony Corporation as a whole. You know, sometimes we'll talk about Sony Corp, like their financials and everything, but I'm not gonna mess with that. Some people are arguing that it does have a PlayStation influence because they want to release. Some people are saying like, "Oh, release the movie right now exclusively on PlayStation or something to drive unit sales or whatever." It's just I'm not even gonna deal with that. Plus, this episode's going on way too long already, so I'm gonna wrap it up. Hey, posted my Little Big Planet 3 review. Finally, I got the platinum trophy on it. Actually, had to mention that because I'm just that guy. Check it out. Worked hard on it. I really love doing review videos. I know I don't do them that often anymore, but when I do them, I put a lot of work into them. So please check it out if you have the time. Even if you don't even give a shit about Little Big Planet, check it out. Anyway, that's about it. I'm Ryan Benecki. Thank you so much for talking with me, guys, and I'll see you all next Friday.